Before you open the LiquoGuard tube set, make sure it's still sterile. The package contains out of the blister the instructions for use and some patient stickers. To open the blister, peel off the foil. After you open the package, you will find the CSF collection bag, an ECG electrode which we use as a sticker for the pressure sensor housing, and the tube set itself. The tube set contains out of a three-way stopcock where you connect the drainage catheter coming out of the patient to the LiquoGuard tube set. A short piece of tube, the pressure sensors housing with the two redundant pressure sensors, the electrical connector to connect the tubing to the device, two adapters where the tube set is fitted into the pump, and the blue stopcock where the drainage bag is connected to. The ECG electrode fits to the pressure sensors housing. Before you turn on LiquoGuard, make sure everything is prepared. The device has to be connected to the mains, otherwise you will not be able to turn on the device. Hang the bag holder to the side of the device. Prepare the patient. The catheter is inserted into the body. In this situation, we have a ventricular drainage situation. The ECG electrode, which we use as a sticker, is stick to the patient. In ventricular mode at the height of foramen Monroe. Turn on the device by pressing the power button. Device is now starting. You can hear the alarm beep. To test the speaker, you can see the LEDs flashing and you can see the pump turning. After the device has booted, he will ask you whether you want to copy the data of the last application, means the last patient, to an external memory, the SD card. The SD card is fitted into this slot here. He asks you, write data of last patient to card. You can dial in yes or no. If you say yes, data is copied. This is the last chance to store the data of the last application. You can easily see that the SD card was accepted as an SD card symbol is displayed in the display. To remove the SD card, push the card. It can easily be removed. To insert the card, fit it into the slot, push, and he recognizes the card. And then choose the operation mode you want the device to run. Ventricular drainage mode, lumbar drainage mode, or infusion test. Please note that infusion test is not available in the US at the very moment. In our example, we will choose ventricular mode as we have a ventricular drainage situation. Now we follow the instructions in the display. Sensor cable. Connect, pump, and wait. The sensor cable is connected to the pump at the bottom of the device. Attach pressure sensor to patient. The pressure sensors are in the pressure sensor housing and attached to the patient with the ECG electrode. confirm that you did this. To connect the patient and the LiquoGuard tube set, establish the connection while the catheter is still closed. To load the tubing into the pump, open the pump. Fit the first connector into the pump. The connector does not fit in the wrong place. Hold the end loose and turn the rotor manually. Then fit the second connector and close the pump. Next, connect the end of the tubing to the collection bag. And fit it into the bag holder. It is important, in order to measure the correct pressure, to prime the tubing. The parts of the system that have to be primed are the drainage catheter, the stopcocks, and the short piece of tubing between the stopcock and the pressure sensor housing, and the pressure sensor itself. The rest of the tubing may be full of air, it will not change anything. In order to prime the tubing, we open the stopcock, so we now have a connection between the patient and the tube set. CSF cannot run through the tubing now because the tubing is always closed, as the rotor closes the tubing. In order to prime the tubing, we use the rotor. Therefore, we open the rotor and turn counterclockwise because we want to drain out of the patient into the bag. We want to drain CSF to prime the tubing until CSF can be seen behind the sensor. We turn the rotor counterclockwise, and while we do this, we watch the CSF inside the tubing. You can see the CSF running through. We can see the CSF in behind the sensor. Now we are sure the whole tubing is primed. Now everything is prepared. We are ready to drain. As a last step, we again check that the valves are open. This valve is open too. We check visually whether there's any air inside the system. The system is in pause mode now, means pressure is displayed but the pump does not turn. Switch to play mode. As we have a high pressure at the moment, LiquoGuard is now draining. Make sure that you can see pressure changes. You can see the pressure curve changing. This is the CSF pulsation of the patient. If you don't see any pulsation, this could be a hint that there's any problem. Like, for example, a closed valve. Now there's no pulsation anymore. When we open the valve again, you see the pulsation. So always check for pulsation. If you want to stop the application or you want to change the tube set, we first of all close the connection to the patient. Then bring the tube set out of the pump. Therefore, we disconnect, open the cover, and bring the tubing out by turning the rotor. Then we turn off the device. Disconnect from the device.